Well, Empire, it's been quite a week. Very long week. 2 of them actually. I'm very sorry for not posting last week. It was because I had my AP testing. So it was like college level testing for my school, and it was hectic. At the least. Then I got sick immediately after. So even when I planned to record, I was sick. And I just want everybody to know, if I do cough throughout the video, I'm sorry. If I sound a little bit grumbly, probably leftovers, But today we're gonna be having a video. I don't want to have a super long intro. So today, this video is gonna be about how to make D&D encounters and battles more interesting as a player without making your DM cry. I can say, as a DM from experience, things happen. Don't make them cry. We have feelings too, guys. So, the first step is to really just, in the simplest way, think outside of the box. You're playing a game called Dungeons and Dragons. Don't keep your head in the dungeon. Keep it out more like the dragons. Do you get what I mean? It's a game about imagination, so obviously you should use it. There's so much you can do, and you should really just play with that, experiment with that. Like, use your environment to your advantage. I was, a week ago playing actually in a campaign, right after my exams. I know, I'm crazy. But the boss was a giant shark attacking our ship. We were on a pirate ship, and there was a shark attack. And so, in order to combat this shark, because both me and one of the other players were very small, we couldn't really do much other than like shoot arrows at it. We decided to climb up onto the mast and jump down using our weapons. She had a spear, I had a shovel, and just stab it into the guy, into the shark, at the top of his head, and it worked. That's one way you can really spice up your battles, by using your environment around you. Use places to hide constantly, even if you're not a rogue and even if you don't get advantage. Sometimes you'll find things, sometimes you'll do interesting things, sometimes it'll be funny. I had a druid in one of my campaigns shift into a rock. She was an armadillo, but she was just like, I'm a rock. And I'm like, okay, if you roll high enough. Use spells in specific ways. You can use Misty Step to get a boost into the air and be like an anime character. I don't know. Use Icy Hands and such to, do things other than what they're supposed to do. Because there's so much you can do with spells that I feel like we don't explore all the time. I heard one post about some person using heat metal on a player. Instead of on their sword, they used it on the opposing attacker's armor, and that's, first of all, that's extremely gruesome, but second of all, that's a great thing to do. You can use your tools for other things as well. You can stab people with arrows. You can, you can just, there's so much you can do. Not within the basic game, because if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons just like a video game, I mean, why not just play a video game? There's so many options you can choose in Dungeons and Dragons that makes it special, and you should take advantage of that instead of just, going in a linear route. My next thing is role-playing within a fight. Just because your character is in a fight doesn't mean that you're not role playing anymore, because each character has their own unique reasons for why they're adventuring or why they want to do it. Like, do you want to protect somebody? I wrote earlier in a different video about my players protecting the townsfolk during a dragon attack. That's a fabulous way to show your character through combat. There's escape. Some characters are cowards, or some people have better things to do with their time. It's not always going to work. Sometimes your DM does really want you to, do things. You can outsmart your enemies. Like, there's so many things you can do to outsmart your enemies, but, traps, such like that. Do you want to collect things? Maybe you're less focused on the actual enemy. Maybe you don't even see the enemy really as an enemy. Maybe you see them as loot. I had once we were going through a horde of undead and we were supposed to collect stuff. That was a really fun thing as a DM to do. So I do suggest that for any DMs. But as players, think about what your character wants out of the encounter. Are they just fighting to fight, or are they fighting for something else? And some players, their character just wants to prove that they're the strongest. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes players or characters just want to prove themselves. They just want to be like especially with barbarians and paladins, that's just what they are. They really just believe that their worth is tied to their battle strength. So then show that with how they fight. And then my last thing, it's going to be a really short video, it looks like it. My last thing, not everything is meant to be a battle. Sometimes things are literally just meant to be just an encounter. I've had one 2-hour-long session, not one dice was rolled as a DM. And that was because, not one combat dice was rolled. So they did roll dice, but other kinds. And it was because the players simply wanted to barter their way out or find other ways to escape combat scenarios. I had combat scenarios planned, even though they're not really my strong suit, as a DM, because the numbers sometimes just bore me. I don't like running combat a lot of the time because, it's boring. Sorry. I warned you about the cough. I'm so sorry, guys. But combat isn't always necessarily an answer. There's so many different ways you could do things. You could even have the party split into 2 groups. One does fight, the other accomplishes some side quest. That works. Or you could just talk things through. Or you could even, find ways to escape, avoid, etc. Obviously, sometimes you will want combat, and obviously sometimes combat will happen. But that doesn't mean that every time you have to do combat, it just has to be rolling dice, let's get this over with. Because I've had moments in campaigns where people just, I wasn't DM, thankfully, but I've had moments where people just groan when something happens. It's not that we're scared our characters will be harmed, it's that we just don't want to roll dice anymore. We don't just want to look at things. So the best way to really combat that is to be creative. Think outside the box. Use your environment, use your spells, use your tools. Use your personality or your character's personality. And you can also just sometimes avoid a fight through other means. And that's all I got for you all today. I hope you're having a very wonderful day. Again, I'm sorry for the no posting video last week. I wasn't feeling very well and I had a lot of stuff on my plate. So, have a wonderful day, everyone. Peace out.